move is not being
Dr. Shilpa Dogra is an exercise scientist and an assistant professor at UOIT.
I was actually born in New Brunswick, and then my parents are from India, and so I did all of my degrees at York University, and didn't really think I was going to go to university at one point, didn't really know what it had to offer and was unsure about going. And then literally the first year I was there, I was one of those lucky people who picked the right program, the right fit for me, so I started in kinesiology and fell in love with it that first year, and so I was at York University for about 10 years for all of my degrees.
Dogra says what she enjoys about science is not only the work itself, but that it leads to an inquisitive way of thinking.
Sometimes people think that science is this hard, like, you know, it's either hard chemistry or math or engineering or whatever, and so I think there's a bit of misconception or misperception around what science really is. I think at the end of the day, science is the scientific method. It's this process that we go through to answer questions, and so if you're a curious type of person and have an inquisitive mind, then I think you'll really enjoy science. I'm one of those people who questions pretty much everything. It's an exhausting way to live, but it's kind of a cool way to live because you go through this process of really questioning things that are around you, things that, you know, haven't been questioned in a while, or sometimes just looking at something from a different angle. And so it's kind of a neat thing when scientists get together at conferences, for example, and you look at the same problem from a different perspective, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, that's such a cool way of looking at this problem. I think it's important that the next generation and everyone out there, no matter how old you are, stops to take that minute to think about the things that we do or the practices that we engage in.
As a scientist, Dogra also admires the work of astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, one of the most recognizable science communicators in the United States.
I think he's so great because he's able to communicate the importance of science in terms that people can relate to and understand, and he's not trying to jargon fill things up and make things complicated. He's very clear and really makes it relatable.
The recent political climate in the U.S. is part of the reason the march is being held. Dogra hopes the event will serve to energize the public.
Science is somewhat under attack right now in different parts of the world, and so scientists in the States right now are facing an unprecedented problem with cuts to funding and being muzzled by the government. So we want to march in solidarity. And we also want to march to make sure that the politicians here realize that we won't stand for it, and hopefully it won't turn into that sort of environment again. But I also think we're at a time in society where it needs to be clear to the general population or to people in Canada and beyond that science is important, and it gives us so much, right? And so we can disagree with something in science, we can disagree with a method, we can disagree with maybe the findings of a specific paper, but science is what it is. And like Neil deGrasse Tyson says, it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not, science is still true.
The March for Science in Toronto will take place this Saturday, April 22nd, starting in Nathan Phillips Square at 11 a.m. and will make its way up to Queen's Park. In Oshawa, Johnston Lai, Durham Now.